Who is Hamas?
So Hamas is a terrorist organization that started in the late 80s during the first Intifada. And they're, when you go through and you look at their, basically their constitution, what they're all about is destroying the nation of Israel and taking it over and giving it to the Palestinians. And again, you have a situation where the people who left Israel in 1947 were in Israeli territories, and they would have been considered Israelis by the people of Israel, just like Arab Israelis are now. And what they did was they left. And so now they're in Palestinian territory, and Israel doesn't want them back. And that's what that fight is about.
Right.
And so when you're looking at, again, what's taken place there, from 1967 all the way up until the late 90s, I can't remember when they finally gave over power, self-rule basically to the Palestinians. It was in the late 90s. Up until that point, the Israelis were occupying that territory just in exactly the same way that the Egyptians were, and in exactly the same ways that the British were before that point, in exactly the same ways that the Ottomans were before that point. And so you can't sit here and talk about the Israelis as being somebody different than the Egyptians, the Ottomans, or the British, because they were governing that area. And so they gave up self-control or self-rule basically to the people in Gaza at that point. And what ended up happening was that when they had elections, basically the first group that was in control of Gaza was Fatah, which was the party of the PLO. Palestine Liberation Organization. And in 2005, Hamas overthrew Fatah, and actually it was a bloody coup. They went in and just slaughtered people once again, and they've been in control ever since. And so since that point, what's been happening is there have again been incursions routinely from Gaza into Israel, and so Israel had already pulled out any Israeli citizens that were living in that area. And then later on, when this got bad enough, you'll remember back in the 2000s, there was a large a bunch of terrorist activity, and a large number of Israeli citizens got killed. And that's when they put up walls. And so they put up walls around Gaza, they put up walls around the West Bank, and that was to keep people from coming over and committing terrorist acts. One of the things that you also have to know about this situation is that Gaza has a large amount of people that would come into Israel for work. And so
Right.
they literally go to work in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that they do that is because there's very little work in Gaza because of the rule of Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and all they're interested in is killing Israelis and wiping out Israel. And so what they use the money that they get, not from industry or work that the Gazans are doing on their own. This is international support that come from different nations. What they do with much of that is they use it for their military.
AKA Iran.
Yep, Iran. It's not just Iran, but yeah, all these a number of Arab nations and the United States gives money to these people.
Right, which is a hot topic right now.
Yeah, and that money goes in major portions to buying the missiles and the rockets that you see being fired into Israel. Hamas also has, basically benevolent associations in the sense that they'll give things to their people, and so They try to on just to give them credit, try to on some levels take care of their people. But it would go a whole lot better if they just took all the money and took care of their people instead of trying to kill off Israelis.
Right.
And that's always been the problem.